Good evening and welcome to iON Business. My name is Motin Mia and today I have two wonderful guests. To my right is Farouk Mia MBE and the gentleman to his right is Nasir Ahmed Shaheen and they're both from London. Farouk Mia is the chairman of CMF, a political activist and an award-winning educator, and Shaheen Bai is the director of the resort Lake Group, Lake Reason Group. Sorry. So we've got an interesting discussion, considering that we've just in the last few days we've agreed a post-credit trade to sort out all the issues regarding UK and the EU. So ideally we would like your thoughts and views on what's been agreed and what the likely outcome is going to be over the next 2-3 years. So starting with you, Farouk, by your overall thoughts on what's been agreed and how do you feel about it?
You know what, my first thought is, apart from whatever is the content of the deal, is I'm glad that we've agreed something. Because just imagine how long this has been going on. This has been in the background for a long time. Yeah. And for 4.5 years, as you say, it's like, you know, are we going to have a deal? Is there going to be a no deal? Is there going to be a hard Brexit, a soft Brexit? Well, whatever is happening, it's finally happening. So I'm glad that that is happening. Overall, I want it to remain. As a Remainer, any kind of deal is probably not going to make me happy because I want to be part of this bigger union. But given the fact that the country voted for Brexit, I'm glad that we have got some kind of a deal and not a no deal, because no deal would have been disastrous in my opinion. And even what we have, it's something to work on. At least we all now can focus on, are we in or out? No, we are leaving on the 31st of December, and I'm really looking forward to the government hopefully coming up with a package that works well for people. And you know, the original, there were these 4 main kind of like pillars in a way of the European Union. One of them that I'm not going to like, I love traveling, and the fact that I can't freely, well, I guess we will be able to. For 90 days, we will be able to.
We will cover
some of those things. But what I would say to start off with, I'm really glad that some sort of a deal has been done, and I'm looking forward to looking at the intricacies. Like you said, that document is huge to look through all that. We'll look at some of the points.
What was it? It's a 1,446-page document that's covered in nothing but legal jargon.
Yes.
So for the layman, for you and I, it's going to be quite hard to understand, but I'm sure the bigwigs are looking into it to clarify it a little bit more.
I think
whether you're a Brexiteer or you're a Remainer, a decision has been made and it's the people's choice. So a decision offers us clarity going forward.
I think what we will be happening hopefully over the coming weeks and months is some kind of clarification what it means for ordinary people like us.
Yes.
So whether it comes to trade, whether it comes to travel, etc. Those are the things. What's going to impact my life? That's the thing that I'm interested in.
Isn't that human nature?
Yeah.
So thank you for your initial input. Shaheen Bhai, please give us your overall thoughts to begin with.
Basically, আমি বেঙ্গলি বলতেছি।
আচ্ছা।
ফারুক ভাই যেটা বলছেন যে একেবারে ডিল একটু তো হইছে, মানে যেটাই হোক না হওয়ার সেইটা তো কিছু একটা হইছে, ওইটাই আমাদের জন্য আমি মনে করি ভালো। যদি একেবারে ডিল না হতো তাহলে তো ডিজাস্টার হয়ে যেত, ওইটাই উনি বলছে আর কি। এবং ওনার সাথে আমিও একমত, আমিও মনে করি আর কি যে এটা একটা ডিজাস্টার হয়ে গেল না যদি কোনো রকম ডিল না হইয়া এমনিতেই মানে আমাদের ব্রেক্সিটে যেতে হতো, তাহলে আমাদের অনেক সমস্যায় পড়ে যেত। এখনও অনেক সমস্যা যেটা থেকে উঠে আসা অনেক টাফ হয়ে যাবে, তবুও ঠিক আছে আমি মনে করি যে নাই মামু থেকে কানা মামু ভালো, আমাদের বাংলা ভাষায় যেটা বলে আর কি।
So what that essentially means is it's better to have a deal than no deal.
Yes.
And I mean there's been lots of things that's been discussed, and just to the general public it was the big elephant in the room was our right of sovereignty.
Yeah.
But that's not what's taken time. That's not what's taken 4.5 years. There's of course been a lot of brinkmanship. how come they agreed it with at last minute, at the 11th hour, when they couldn't do it in 4.5 years? So it's...
You know something, I was always confident some kind of a deal would happen in the end, because usually, but what a lot of people need to understand is, like, we went into this, I believe, in 1973.
Yes, yeah.
So from 73 until 2020, we're talking about nearly just less than 50 years. Yeah, take 4 years away, so nearly about 45 years of slowly we were part of something. So there were kind of deals that we were part of. To undo 45 years of work in the short time that we've had, people need to understand it's not something that's easily done. To do a trade deal, if you think about what's going on around the world, if you're familiar with trade deals that happen between blocks, say the US and Europe, or say China, it takes a long time. It's a long time because there are all these nitty-gritty details that they need to iron out, and they need to kind of foresee every kind of circumstance that might happen or not happen.
Yes.
And if you read about this deal, they've got this kind of like backup things, like if the two sides don't agree or one goes over what they've agreed, there's got to be arbitrators coming in and things. So these are these little details that they had to agree on.
But within our government, there wasn't any skill set to negotiate this kind of deal. So everyone was still learning on the job.
So for 45 years, we didn't need this. So why do you expect somebody to have that skill set?
Absolutely. But it's been very, very hard on whether you're Labour or Conservative. The current incumbent government has not really governed the country. They've had the pandemic to deal with, and prior to that, the whole hullabaloo with Brexit, whether there's going to be a deal or whether negotiations are going to continue or whatever. So it's been very, very hard. So at the end, I think Boris and his team have done well to agree what they've agreed.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll give you an example of something. I was just talking to my friends the other day, and they keep going on about this fishing thing.
Well,
I don't know what they you're going to come on to that.
Of course. I mean, there's of course the fishing thing it was also a deal breaker because of the rights. I mean, is there anything in the Brexit deal, Shaheen Bhai, that you feel is going to impact your life or impact your children's life, your family's life, in a positive or a negative way?
Of course, I think is আমরা বাচ্চা কাচ্চা বা আমাদের লাইফে অনেক ইম্প্যাক্ট পড়বে, কারণ হলো গিয়া আমরা যেহেতু ইউরোপের সাথে ছিলাম, ইউরোপের সাথে আমাদের ধরেন ওই বিভিন্ন ধরনের ট্রেড ছিল, বা আমাদের ছেলেমেয়েরা অনেক সময় ওইখানে গিয়ে ইউরোপিয়ান ইউনিয়নের ভিতরে অনেক ধরনের জব ছিল, বিভিন্ন ধরনের কাইন্ড অফ সুযোগ সুবিধা ছিল, এগুলো এখন আর হবে না। তাই আমি মনে করি এগুলো আমাদের জন্য একটু সমস্যা হয়ে যাবে ভবিষ্যতে। এবং এই ব্রেক্সিট থেকে বের হয়ে আমি যতটুকু দেখতেছি, অন্যদিকে আপনি দেখেন এই যে কোভিড-19, এইটাও আমাদের অনেক এফেক্ট করতেছে, আমাদের ব্যবসা বাণিজ্যতে অনেক এফেক্ট করতেছে। কারণ
we'll discuss COVID if we finish this.
আমি বলতেছি যে এই ব্রেক্সিট এবং কোভিড-19 এই দুটোই আমি মনে করি যে আমাদের জন্য একটা খাড়ার উপর ওই কি বলে এইরকম পড়ে গেছে আর কি। এগুলো থেকে উঠে দাঁড়ানো আমাদের জন্য অনেক টাফ হয়ে যাবে, অনেক কষ্ট হয়ে যাবে। তো ইনশাল্লাহ আমি মনে করি সরকার চেষ্টা করতেছে, বা আমরাও আমাদের আপ্রাণ চেষ্টা করতেছি যে কোনোভাবে আমাদের ব্যবসা টিকিয়ে রাখার, এবং এই ব্রেক্সিট এবং কোভিড থেকে আমরা উত্তরোত্তর মুক্তি পাবো আর কি আমি মনে করি।
I think the truth is it's going to take a little bit of time for us to realize how it's really impacting our life. I'll give you an example of something that's impacted me on a personal level. I normally, for the last few years now, I've been leasing a car every 2 years or 3 years. I have noticed the price of the exact same car has gone up by at least about £100. And I actually talking to the dealership, why is that happening? And I think Brexit is one reason. I think possibly COVID is another reason. It's the same, you must have noticed when you go into the supermarket, the cost of things. It wasn't just the blockage of the lorries in the last few days, but this is something that might happen in the future.
Well, the levies and the tariffs that's going to be put on European goods coming into the country is going to directly affect the price. So you could understand, and everyone's got to appreciate that when you're part of the European Union, you are an extension of an extended family.
Absolutely.
So you all understand the remits and the costs, and you all try and conform to a standard that they keep on repeating in those documents. And one of the things that both of you have touched on so far is the travel. We are entitled to travel to any European country without a visa if we are there for 3 months out of 6.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay for 91 days, then you have to get a visa.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Boris and his team were very good in trying securing was the health insurance.
Yeah.
So if you've already got a European health insurance, that's still valid until it expires. The UK government, the team that's dealt with the Brexit, what they said is they will create a global health insurance. And that will
I think these are the little things that we need kind of clarification on. I'll give you an example of something. I'm really, really pleased that they decided that I can travel within Europe for 90 days. It's highly unlikely that any of us, if we're on, especially going on holiday, I think it impacts people who are going to likely to work.
Yes.
That going on holiday is not going to be an issue. I don't need to apply for a visa, etc. We can carry on. There is a question, I don't know whether you know any more about the passport. So let's say, for example...
Before you go further on to that, I'd just like to tell our viewers we're going to go for a short commercial break.
No problem.
Please don't go away. Come back and join us and listen to our extremely esteemed guests. See you in a few minutes.
Seven Up Free, a tasty twist of lemon and lime free of sugar.
Fillet of fish from a dish. Big Mac down a cul-de-sac. And even under a drying rack. Cheese sides for gaming vibes. Gherkin flirting. Wraps through cat flaps. Nugs on rugs. Or a share box to the river. Because yes, we deliver.
Alright everyone, I want to address the elephant in the room. No, not you, Lola. The tea. We're all switching to PG tips now. Why? Good question, Monkey. These tea bags are biodegradable, while some still use plastic. I know, I would be speechless too. But we can change this. All of us, even you. PG tips it is.
Did you know that there are alternatives to pills when it comes to joint and back pain? Voltarol gel targets the source of pain and gets to work directly where it hurts. The powerful anti-inflammatory ingredient is retained in your joint tissue to provide all-day pain relief. Next time pain strikes, why not try Voltarol gel? The joy of movement.
Your NHS repeat prescription is just a tap away. With the Co-op Health app, you can securely order your prescription online and have it delivered to your home. We'll notify you when your prescription has been approved by your GP and when it's on its way. Register online today or download the Co-op Health app. Co-op, it's what we do.
A woman's place. I decided it was up to me where that was. And it was in the Navy. Yep, I know it. Said that I wanted the night. Get it. Told me you're coming, then I'm ready. Ship looking rocky, but I'm steady. Yep, I know it. Told me you're coming, then I'm ready. Ship looking rocky, but I'm steady.
You came to slay this peloton. Get a little savage with it.
Trust us till the beat drops. You got this.
Yes to you, Claire from Brighton.
Core tight, Peloton.
Say it with me, I crushed that.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. And if we could go back to Farooq Bhai, he did have a very, very interesting point about existing EU passport holders, and if you've got still a period of time left on it, what does it really mean for you? So Farooq Bhai, if you'd just like to elaborate on that just a little bit.
I was just saying, it's like, I'm a big fan of traveling around the world, and it's like I feel like I've been in a cage for the last 9 months, but I'm dying to go out again. But in terms of the European Union, I'm really pleased that we can travel if it's less than 90 days. So most of us will have no reason to be traveling within Europe for more than 90 days in any given 6-month period. But the other thing is, like, I've got a passport, I've got a British and, say, the European Union passport that lasts I think another 3 years. So my question really is, I haven't actually read this anywhere. What happens? I believe it's still valid, but I don't know what your opinion is, or what your opinion is if you know the facts.
Well, I unfortunately don't know the facts, and like I stated at my kind of opening comments, the document is over 1,200 pages. So with all the best will in the world, I've not had the time to read it all. So I did skim certain things, but this is me assuming from my understanding. If we're out of the EU, and if you've got an EU passport, then that means you don't need a visa to go to any of the EU countries. But because you've come out of the EU, that would mean the very conditions that allow you to have the EU passport now have been revoked. So therefore you have to get renationalized with your British passport. I think that I could be
probably make
completely
logical sense to you, but I honestly am curious about this question. Maybe one of our viewers out there has the answer. Maybe you want to phone in.
That would be absolutely great.
And join in our conversation.
Nasir bhai, what's your opinion? What do you think?
আসলে ওই 3 মাসের আমার পাসপোর্ট আছে ধরেন আরো 9 বছরের ডেট মানে ভ্যালু এখন দেখা যায় 3 মাসের যাদের 3 মাস আছে মানে ধরেন 3 মাসের পাসপোর্টের ডেট নাই তারা ইউরোপিয়ান ইউনিয়নে গিয়ে ঢুকতে পারবে না ওইটাই তো জানি
Most of the time when you travel somewhere you need like 3 to 6 months validity of the passport.
Validity 6 months.
Listen, if they're going to take that passport away, the government should be giving us a free replacement, is my opinion. And I'm sure they might do this, but I honestly don't know what the answer is right now. Like I said, I really want somebody to call in.
I think they're going to force us to pay for at least the the kind of the admin cost and the printing.
Or maybe we're going to say I've got 3 years left. Normally you get a 10 years passport. Maybe they can put 10 plus 3 and put it that way. I honestly don't know what the answer is.
To get value for money that way.
I'd like value for money. Who doesn't like value for money?
Does anyone know, or do you have any idea? Because one of the interesting things that I read was how they're going to resolve disputes. So what they've done is there is a new committee, or they call it a council, that's going to be formed, and it's going to come active from the 1st of January. That council is going to be made up of 5 UK members, 5 EU members, and 5 independent members that are specialists in specific fields. The chair is going to come from the independent members, and the co-chair is going to be made up of one of EU members and one of UK members. But the most interesting thing is that council has the right to change agreed Brexit deals. So my fear is we might be here again in the next few months. But we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I have a question regarding the Erasmus student exchange program. My son is in 6th form, and it was something that he was considering going into Europe and going to the institutions there. I'm not sure if we're still part of it or if there's an alternative. I'm not sure if your guests can answer that question.
I know the answer.
Well, young lady, we have a great guest. We have an educator in Farouk Mia MBE, and I'm sure you have absolutely.
This one I do have an answer. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Because we're out of the EU, we're definitely no longer part of the Erasmus program. But the government is setting up a £100 million new program where it will allow our UK citizens to go and participate in such programs across the world, not just
it's
in the
EU. It's a global
EU.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the government will release the information soon, so your son will be able to find a little bit more information and take part in whatever is relevant for them.
I think we financially benefit by coming out of this because the contributions that were made by each EU state was £30 billion.
Yeah.
The UK government used to get 200 million as a kickback. Now, us being the UK, I'm sure we would have paid a large sum of that 30 billion. So there'll be a huge saving there.
Even if you think about the whole concept of the modern EU with the 28 countries, it was like the burden fell on the ones with the broader shoulders.
Absolutely.
So, for example, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, etc. So therefore, this is what happened. I think when we had just the Western European countries, I think we had less kind of all these murmuring about being part of the EU.
The financial burden was shared.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then when you introduce, like in particular, the Eastern European countries, and I think this is where I think some people starting asking more and more questions, because we were given a far greater share to bring up the other people, say, from
the subsidies
from
were costing us huge.
Yeah. And I think this is where the whole thing kind of started. Some people even resenting what was going on. And this was happening not just in the United Kingdom. If you think about the far-right group, say, in France, they probably started even before, as I reckon.
The French are as tolerant as
I hope that answers the question for your caller. It's
yes,
quite straightforward.
caller, are you happy with the answer?
I think they've gone.
Lovely. So what I wanted to also... Oh, we have another caller. Welcome, please ask the question.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
First of all, just wanted to congratulate Makini Mama for hosting this particular show. And I can see you have a couple of fantastic guests, particularly Farooq with you here. So just a few questions, just to clarify from my side. One is the sovereignty that we had or have in the UK. Seems like just when we want to travel within the UK, there's going to be checkpoints. That's one. Second is just wanted to understand and for your guests to clarify about the tariff and the quota for business purpose. I'm talking about tax and, obviously tariffs, different countries will have different tariffs, so it's not going to be an universal one. Just wanted to understand a little bit more on that. And well done, and continue with the good work, inshallah.
Thank you, caller. Can we just have your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Noor. I'm calling from London.
Thank you for calling. I believe the first part of the question was, is there going to be checkpoints in the UK?
No, I don't know. I've never heard anything about having checkpoints within the UK.
Yeah.
Definitely there isn't. I don't see any reason. We're able to freely travel now. I'm sure as part of this deal, it's our deal with the European Union, not within the United Kingdom.
Okay.
The only place that I can possibly see something but it's valid now, is this business about the island of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Well, but it's something they might want to go to with goods and services. I think they have a slightly different rule. You can answer the second part of it, because I'm not sure I have the...
Well, in terms of Northern Ireland, the European Court of Justice, the big argument with the EU was they still wanted the European Court of Justice to be involved in the special council that's been formed.
Yeah.
But the UK fought for that, and they eventually agreed.
Yeah.
But they did give in because of the special agreement with Northern Ireland. to kind of to have a balance with the EU, they did agree that the EU Court of Justice would be involved with Northern Ireland just to make the whole decision making and the standard protocols, just to make everything a little bit easier. Nasir Bhai, is there anything that you'd like to add to maybe help the callers' questions?
Thank you. Caller যে কোয়েশ্চন করছেন ওইটার আনসার তো ফারুক ভাই দিয়া দিচ্ছেন এবং আমি মনে করি ওইটাই সঠিক উনি যেটা বলছেন আর কি ওইটাই
It's absolutely correct. One of the biggest things that worries me is we've got lots of agreements that does benefit us, but the biggest downfall is our financial sector. Our financial sector accounts for about 80% of the revenue that comes in from the EU. Now all of a sudden we haven't got open trade with the EU, so therefore our financial services, there's levies and tariffs that's going to be put on it. How is that going to impact our country and the growth of the financial sector? It is recognized as one of the best, if not number one, number two.
It's the number one in the world.
Absolutely.
Without doubt. And the other thing is not just the financial sector. As a country, we are very much a service sector.
Our manufacturing is dead.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
The only thing I would say is, like, look at what's happening with COVID. It's something that's happened all around the world, but every country in its own way is finding ways to deal with this thing.
Yes.
So, yes, if you're a pessimist, you'll say, oh, it's end of the world. But if you're an optimist, we will find a way. Like, nobody believed there would be a deal done in this short space of time, yet it was done. I am sure we will find ways. Yes, the service sector, the financial sector might take a hit right now. But everybody in the world knows this is the best place in the world to do that particular kind of business. So I think we will find a way, and we looked at all these tariffs. It might be, would you rather be in one country or would you rather be part of 27 countries? Logic says you want to be part of the 27.
Yes.
But if the best thing that can happen is in this one country, I think we will find ways.
Of course we will find a way, but what we didn't need is the uncertainty for the next 3, 5, 10 years. And my belief is, I'm like you, I didn't want out.
Yeah.
But a decision's been made by us.
The nation.
So therefore our government has a duty to fulfill and get us out of Europe. Now that we're out, that upheaval that we're going to go through, I firmly believe at the end of it we will come out on top, because we're a resilient nation.
Absolutely.
And the very makeup of our country is this multicultural makeup of our nation and the hard working.
I honestly think that, you know, the country made a decision. It was very close, small margins. Yeah, but we decided
But it was sold on sovereignty.
Yes.
It wasn't sold on anything else.
I think it's people's understanding,
and that was the propaganda. That's what I find very difficult to get my head round.
What can you do? It's the same when you say, how on earth can so many people have voted, say, Conservative? So you'd say the great majority of the people believe in them. Whilst the people who didn't win are continually saying, how on earth did they win? But the great majority of the people did. But what I'm saying, in my mind, I feel like, look, the country made a certain decision. We've now, the Prime Minister promised that we're going to be out on 31st of December. He's got the deal. I think we just need to see what happens over the next few years. It might be good, it might be bad, but we need to see what happens. If we don't like it, I'm sure somewhere in the future, there might be another referendum and say, shall we join the EU again? Maybe not on the same term.
We can't go through this again.
Who knows? Hopefully not in our lifetime. Maybe
I'm sorry to interrupt you again. We're going to go for another commercial short break, and I look forward to having you back in a few minutes.
ওয়ার্ল্ড রেমিটে আমরা বুঝতে পারি যে যাত্রাটি কি, এটি কিভাবে মাঝে মাঝে একটু দূরত্ব নিতে পারে আমাদের একসাথে আরো কাছাকাছি আনার জন্য। আরো সংরক্ষণের উপায় সহ আপনি যখন আরো পাঠান, ওয়ার্ল্ড রেমিট এখানে আপনার জন্য, সুতরাং আপনি যেন তাদের জন্য থাকতে পারেন।
আমাদের ফ্যাক্টরি স্বপ্ন পুরি অ্যারোমা আইসক্রিম, অনেক রকম ফ্লেভার দিয়ে আমরা বানাই ড্রিম। অ্যারোমা টেস্টি, ভেরি মিষ্টি, অ্যারোমা ভালোবাসি। অ্যারোমা টেস্টি, ভেরি মিষ্টি, অ্যারোমা ভালোবাসি।
তাই তো অ্যারোমা আইসক্রিম খেতে বাবা চলে আসি।
অ্যারোমা আইসক্রিম
আপনাদের কাস্টমারের প্রিয়
অ্যারোমা আইসক্রিম।
ব্যাকটন রিটেল পার্কে কাঁচা বাজার এক্সট্রা, ভেজিটেবল এবং ফ্রুটসের এক বিশাল আয়োজন। এর আগে আপনি কখনো দেখেননি। সামাজিক দূরত্ব বজায় রেখে আপনার পরিবারের জন্য মন ভরে শপিং করুন। পাবেন বাংলাদেশ সহ বিভিন্ন দেশের নানা রকম তরতাজা শাকসবজি ও ফলমূল সুলভ মূল্যে। ভিন্ন ভিন্ন আইটেমে থাকছে ভিন্ন ভিন্ন অফার। কাঁচা বাজার এক্সট্রা, 3A Backton Retail Park, London E6 6LA.
Mega Sale. Mahid London has brought the Mega Sale. From 2nd of December to 28th February, Mega Sale on every branch or online. Islamic books start from £1. Mahid London, Green Street, Whitechapel, Bethnal Green and Luton, or visit mahidlondon.com.
দীর্ঘদিন ধরে কমিউনিটির আস্থা ও নির্ভরতার প্রতীক বাংলা টাউন ক্যাশ অ্যান্ড ক্যারি। তাজা শাকসবজি, ফলমূল, ফ্রেশ মাছ আর মাংস থেকে শুরু করে দৈনন্দিন জীবনের সব নিত্যপণ্য পাবেন এখানে। মানে সেরা, দামে কম আর গ্রেট কাস্টমার সার্ভিস। সাথে আছে বিশাল ফ্রি কার পার্কিং। বাংলা টাউন ক্যাশ অ্যান্ড ক্যারি, 21 থেমস রোড, পার্কিং IG 110HN, ফোন 020-8507-1144।
Seven Up Free, a tasty twist of lemon and lime, free of sugar.
Having a seriously ill child in hospital feels like drowning. I just felt that I had to be with him, close to him as much as possible. The house meant that we could be together, we could be close to each other, and it became our home. From my family to yours, thank you.
Alright everyone, I want to address the elephant in the room. No, not you, Lola. The tea. We're all switching to PD tips now. Why? Good question, Monkey. These tea bags are biodegradable, while some still use plastic. I know, I would be speechless too. But we can change this. All of us, even you. PD tips it is.
Sorry I'm late, Maestro.
Oh, Bob, how about you just like that?
Well, the script said we should see a trendy version of De Niro, so here I am.
It's not De Niro, like Robert De Niro. It's the Niro, the car, and it runs fully electric, hybrid, and plug-in hybrid.
I'm sorry, my bad. I'll be right back.
The Kia Niro family, available as the electric e-Niro, self-charging hybrid, and plug-in hybrid.
Kia, the power to surprise.
Cold and flu won't let you sleep. Time to take action. Night Nurse. Its unbeatable strength helps put your symptoms to bed. Only available at the pharmacy counter.
You came to slay this Peloton. Get a little savage with it.
Thrust this till the beat drops. You got this.
Yes to you, Claire from Brighton.
Core tight, Peloton.
Say it with me, I crushed that.
At home motivation, anytime you want it.
Woo.
Hi and welcome back to iON Business. And thank you for joining us. It's been a wonderful evening so far with my two guests. I'd just like to discuss the year that we've had, and it's been an extremely challenging year. And just before we go on that topic, we have a caller waiting. Welcome, caller. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
আমার নাম মোহাম্মদ বেলাল হোসেন, আমি লুটন থেকে ফোন করছি।
Thank you, Bilal Hussain.
আচ্ছা, আমার কোশ্চেন হচ্ছে আপনাদের সবার কাছে যে এই বছরটা তো আমরা অনেক কষ্ট করে কাটালাম। আমি যেহেতু একজন রেস্টুরেন্ট ব্যবসায়ী, তা আমার প্রশ্নটা হচ্ছে যে নতুন যে ডিলটা ইউরোপিয়ানের সাথে আনা হয়েছে, এইটার মধ্যে 1200 পেজের যে ডিল, আমরা তো এখনো কিছু জানি না এটা নিয়ে আলাপ হবে পার্লামেন্টে পাস হবে কিনা না। যদি পাস হয় তাহলে আমাদের রেস্টুরেন্ট ব্যবসায়ীরা কি উপকৃত হবে না হবে না, এইটাই আমার কোশ্চেন। ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you, Bilal Hussain. Nasir Bhai, I think you're in the best position to answer this.
ধন্যবাদ আপনার সুন্দর একটা কোয়েশ্চেনের জন্য। লুটন থেকে ফোন করেছেন। বেসিক্যালি ওই 1200 আর 1400 পৃষ্ঠার যে ডিল হয়েছে, ওইটা তো একমাত্র বরিস জনসন ছাড়া এখনো কেউ জানে না কি এটার মধ্যে। এটা যখন ডিসকাস হবে তখন না বোঝা যাবে যে আমাদের রেস্টুরেন্ট সেক্টরের পক্ষে কিছু করছে কি না। এখন তো আমাদের ওইটা দেখতে হবে। যতদিন পর্যন্ত ওইটা ব্রডকাস্ট হয় নাই, আমরা তখন পর্যন্ত তো বলতে পারতেছি না এখানে আমাদের কোনো লাভবানের কিছু আছে কিনা। ধন্যবাদ কলার।
Thank you, Nasir Bhai. I think Nasir Bhai answered that very eloquently. The document is very large, so still a lot to be gone through, and I'm sure news will emerge how it affects the catering industry. We have another caller waiting. Welcome, caller. May I have your name and where you're calling from, please?
Hi, my name is Sarah. I just want to ask a question on Brexit. So how do you see our new position now that we've left the EU shaping our foreign policy and Britain's global outlook? Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
I heard the question properly.
I think the question was, now that we're out of the EU, how will it impact our foreign policy?
Okay.
So
I think this is one of the fundamental things, what Brexit was all about, sovereignty.
Yes.
So if you think about the whole question was around we in the United Kingdom have control of whatever we do that impacts the United Kingdom, whereas presently, as part of the European Union, so many of the decisions we had to get the approval of the 28 countries within the European Union. And this is what it allows. So we don't have to go to the Commission, we don't have to go to the Council of Ministers, etc. All the decisions will be made in the United Kingdom Parliament or the United Kingdom courts. So in terms of our foreign policy, I guess right now there might not be that many changes, but as time goes on, we will be making decisions based on the best interest of the United Kingdom and not necessarily the best interest of the European Union. So as you can see, if there's 27 other people with you, everybody's going to have different thoughts. Whereas now we can just think about ourselves. It might be a selfish thing to do.
Of course.
But we will probably do things that is in the best interest. And we wait and see where there might be anything different. At the moment, I can't see any major changes, or certainly Boris, to the best of my knowledge, he hasn't announced anything other than these trade deals. He believes that now that we're out of Europe, we don't need the approval of the 28 countries anymore. So therefore we can perhaps do better deals with the United States, with India, with Australia, etc. It might be easier because we are on our own, we do direct dealing, whereas not have to worry about the 28 countries.
There are lots of deals currently being discussed, especially with Singapore and a few other countries.
Absolutely.
And these are at the very early stages. But one of the issues that's currently being raised is the great work that has benefited employees in the UK. That's all of a sudden going to be eroded because we've left the EU and the working directive is going to change significantly. That's the fear of industry leaders and so what are your thoughts? I mean, do employers have a lot to fear? Are their hours going to get extended? I mean, are we still going to be in line?
I guess we don't know. Sometimes you just need to play things out. And I think that's what we're going to need to do. Play it out and see what actually happens. There are so many people unemployed in this country. So if you're talking about the labor market, I'm sure whatever sector you're looking at, hopefully there are people within our, the United Kingdom where people can actually gain employment. I think the longer term, I don't know. At the moment, like you said, we might need to say the multinationals. They might have offices all over Europe.
I'm sorry to stop you again. We're going to take one more caller now, and then after that, we are going to talk about the year that we've just had.
Sure.
So, welcome caller. May I just take your name and where you're calling from, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
আমার নাম ইয়াফর আলী, আমি কেন্ট থেকে টেলিফোন করছি।
Thank you, Yafar Ali.
আপনার অনুষ্ঠানটা খুব ভালোই লাগছে দেখিয়া, এবং very presentable. Some of the information we are getting from you and your guest is being very learning point for hundreds of people who are watching this program at the moment, I believe. আমার একটা প্রশ্ন প্যানেলের কাছে, ফারুক সাহেবের কাছে এবং অন্য জায়গায় সুলতানের কাছে। আমরা রেফারেন্ডাম হওয়ার আগে কিছু কনজারভেটিভ পার্টির লোকরা আমরা প্রমিস করছিলাম যে যদি if we come out of European Union we will have more opportunity of recruiting staff from third world countries. আমরা তো 31 তারিখ we are coming out of European Union. Is there any possibility that our catering industry will be run and getting staff from third world countries? Can you visualize any of these ideas in the future that there is a possibility of that?
Well, thank you for that question. I think it's a very, very good question, and especially one that's associated with your hospitality industry. So I believe it will open up doors for us to get qualified people from all over the world. Nasir bhai, what are your views and how do you feel this will play out?
বেসিক্যালি এখন যে জানুয়ারি 1 তারিখ থেকে আমরা যেটা শুনতেছি, যেমন আগে ইউরোপিয়ান ইউনিয়ন এবং বাংলাদেশ থেকে শুধু ওই লেভেল শুধু হাই কোয়ালিফাই যারা তাদেরকে মানে আনা যেত। এখন তো আপনার লেভেল 3 যেগুলো ধরেন নার্স বা ওই শেফ কোয়ালিটির আরও অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট শেফ এইরকম লোক আনা যাবে, এবং ওয়েজেসটাও অনেক কমাইছে। আগে ধরেন 28,000 কত ছিল, এখন আরও 25,000-এর কম নিয়ে আসছে আর কি। তো দেখা যাচ্ছে একটু সুযোগ সুবিধা দিচ্ছে মনে হয়। এখনও ফাইনালি কোনো কিছু বুঝতে পারতেছি না। আমরা মনে করতেছি যে থার্ড ওয়ার্ল্ড থেকে লোক আনার সুযোগ করে দিবে, কারণ এখন যেহেতু ইউরোপিয়ান ইউনিয়ন বন্ধ হয়ে যাচ্ছে, ইউরোপিয়ান ইউনিয়নে যারা কাজ করতো এরা তো চলে যাচ্ছে, তাহলে তো আমরা আরও সংকটে পড়ে যাব। তাই আমি মনে করি মনে হয় একটু সুযোগ সুবিধা দিবে আমাদের থার্ড ওয়ার্ল্ড থেকে লোক আনার।
Joe, you're absolutely right. I think there will be opportunity for us to get human resources from anywhere in the world, long as they meet our criteria.
And I think this is
which is absolutely imperative to the success and the regeneration growth of UK.
This is exactly what I would say. I'm not a specialist on catering or hospitality, but what I would say, this present government has tried to change the rules on who can enter the country.
Yes.
Yeah. So we want the best possible people, so the best possible nurses, best possible chefs, etc. So there is a new point-based system that has been introduced. As long as you meet the criteria, wherever you're in the world, I wouldn't necessarily call anybody third world countries, and I hope places like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, we're like what I'd call developing.
Yes.
And we are probably developing faster than even some of the European countries, to be honest. If you are good at what you do,
we are.
And hopefully they'll be able to come. And everybody who's in the industry, in particular, he talks about restaurant and catering, etc. Everybody's aware what happened last time round. What you don't want is a system to kind of like the floodgates open and the wrong people come, and then look what's happened. We have that shortage.
Absolutely.
So what we want is the right people coming in, doing the jobs properly. And I believe you're right. Something is coming in the beginning. Like I said, this is not my specialist area, so I don't know, but I'm very much aware that they are opening things up, and the people where there is a shortage, we will be there. So I don't know who made what promise, before the referendum, but hopefully whoever needs the chef and the right kind of chef, they will be able to get them. But we want the best people to be able to do the job. We just don't want random people coming in, say like, I want a chef, and then he comes in and he doesn't understand. So we want the best of people, and those people will certainly, from the best of my knowledge, they'll be allowed to come in to do those jobs and fill those vacancies if you have them.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right, and you've made some very interesting points. So I think we've talked a lot about Brexit, and hopefully we've offered a little bit of an insight to our viewers. I'd like to take the next few minutes before we finish for tonight and talk about the challenges that we've had. And because my guest Nasir Bhai is in the hospitality industry, I know it's impacted you greatly. Maybe you can tell us your story and how you've met the challenges in the year that's about to come. Yeah.
কোভিড-19 আসলে এটা আশঙ্কা চলে আসছে আমাদের কাছে, কারণ যেদিন কোভিড-19 শুরু হবে এর আগের সপ্তাহে কেউ জানে না যে এই কোভিড-19 আসতেছে বা এইরকম যে একটা ভয়ঙ্কর জিনিস আমাদের উপর চলে আসতেছে, কারণ হঠাৎ করে এই কোভিড-19 আসছে, কেউ রেডি ছিল না এটার উপরে। তো হঠাৎ যখন কোভিড-19 দেখা দিল, গভর্নমেন্ট ঘোষণা দিল এবং সব কিছু বন্ধ করে দিল, যে লকডাউন দিয়ে সব কিছু বন্ধ করে দিল। বেসিকলি ধরেন আমরা যে ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে আছি, ওই ওয়েডিং সেক্টর তখন এপ্রিল মাসে মেইন বিজি থাকে, ওই সময় হলিডে টাইমে অনেক বিয়ে শাদী থাকে। তখন ওই যে বিয়ের মানুষ আমাদেরকে ডিপোজিট দিয়ে দিয়েছে বা বিয়ের সব সরঞ্জাম আমরা রেডি করে ফেলছি ওয়েডিং বিষয় নিয়ে। তখন দেখা যায় ওই কোভিড-19 আসায় বন্ধ করে দিল, লকডাউন দিয়ে দিল। তখন পুরা মানে কি বলবো, আমরা পুরা ডিস্ট্রয় হয়ে গেলাম, কারণ মানুষের টাকাও ফেরত দিতে হচ্ছে অনেক সময়, ওই যে ডিপোজিটগুলো। অনেক সময় দেখা যাচ্ছে যে আপনার পুরা বিল্ডিং বন্ধ, যারা কাজ করতো তারা অসহায় হয়ে গেছে, কারণ তারাও জানে না তারা কি করবে। কারণ আমাদের ধরেন একটা ওয়েডিং ডেতে 20-25 জন লোকে এসে কাজ করে, ওই যে আপনার বিয়ের সার্ভিসিং বিভিন্ন কাজে। তখন যখন বন্ধ হয়ে গেল, ওরা যাবে কই? ওদের তো অনেক কষ্ট হয়েছে, কারণ তখন অনেক লোক ধরেন ওই যে আমাদের এখানে ধরেন ফেলো যেটা ওইটাও পাইতেছে না, কারণ আমাদের এখানে পার্ট টাইম আসতো 1-2 দিনের জন্য, যখন সিজনাল যেটা বলা হয় আর কি। তো ওদের খুব কষ্ট হয়ে গেছে। বিশেষ করে ধরেন আমাদের ওয়েডিং সেক্টরে আছে ক্যামেরাম্যান, যারা ওই যে ফটোগ্রাফার যারা করে, তাদের কত কষ্ট, কারণ তারা তো আর কোনো কাজ করে না, ওইগুলোই করতো। ধরেন আরেকটা যেমন মিউজিশিয়ান আছে, অনেক জিনিস এটার সাথে ইনভলভ আছে, ডেকোরেশন আছে, ওদের তো এখন পুরোই মানে বিজনেসটা ওদের একেবারে শেষ হয়ে গেছে। ওরা এখন পর্যন্ত তো আমরা বুঝতেছি না কি হবে, কারণ ওই যে ধরেন ডিসেম্বরের মাঝামাঝি বোঝা গেছিল মনে হয় একটু সুযোগ সুবিধা হবে, মানুষ তখন বুকিং টুকিং নিচ্ছে, আমরাও নিছি ওই যে ক্রিসমাসের সময় এসে। পরে দেখা যায় আবার ওই যে নতুন করে ভাইরাস আরেকটা এসে সব কিছু ডিস্ট্রয় করে দিছে। এখন তো আর কিভাবে কি করব আমরা আসলে চোখে পথ দেখতেছি না। যদি ওই যে গভর্নমেন্ট আমাদের কোনো সুযোগ সুবিধা দেয়।
Nasir bhai, I'm sorry to interrupt, but আমরা সময় we're coming to an end, and just if you could take 20 seconds just to summarize what Nasir bhai has said and your feelings.
I think this has been
the year that we've had.
Horrendous year that nobody could have foreseen. I don't think any of us have seen in our lifetime, and hopefully I never see it again. But I'm ever the optimist. Hopefully this vaccine, we can get back to some kind of normality within the next 3-6 months, and it might be 12 months, but everybody needs to hang in there. Everybody needs to look after each other and stay safe. And look after the government advice, and I'm sure you will remind people some of the government advice that they're giving.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
You've been absolutely fantastic guests.
Thank you.
And just to summarize the hour that we've spent talking, I think the year started off with extreme challenges for all of us in every single industry, and life almost came to a halt, a standstill. But to finish the year, we're finishing on a very high positive. We had the uncertainty of Brexit, that's been sorted, the vaccine, and we made history. Our country was the first to test and approve. And so we are to date, the official numbers I don't know, but I believe we could be at around 800,000 people that's already been vaccinated. So let's look forward to 2021.